Hey learners, let's get real. How many of you have ever found yourselves mesmerized by a drying paint job? I know, it sounds zen-y, but we're onto something here. Watching paint dry might not be as thrilling as binge watching your favorite show, but for someone who's all about the patience game, it's an epic waiting saga. You could say they're on a mission to beat all records of slow, and steady wins the race. And trust me, these individuals exist. Here's the deal. We've got folks out there, rock-solid patient individuals, who have spent time glued to a screen, witnessing something truly one-of-a-kind, a never-before-seen event or should I say, an event that's taking its sweet time happening. Some of you might be going, wait, what? That's exactly the reaction we're after. It's all part of this mind-bending journey to test just how patient you can be. Get comfortable, folks. Today we're on the cusp of something incredible, an event that's been unfolding right under our noses since 1931. You might be thinking, what's the big deal? We see new records being shattered left and right. And you're right, each year, humans make waves with fascinating feats, daring stunts, or downright weird achievements. But this one takes the cake, an ongoing experiment that's been quietly pushing boundaries for nearly a century. We'll dive into what makes it so unique, but one thing's certain, we're about to explore an incredible record that's equal parts mesmerizing and mind-bogglingly long-lasting. Buckle up, because we're about to geek out over a substance so special, it'll blow your mind. The star of our show is called pitch, not the musical kind, but a liquid so incredibly thick and slow-moving, it's often mistaken for a solid. Imagine a material that flows at such a glacial pace. It'd take around 10 whole years to form just one tiny drop. Lab experiments love playing with these magical babies, as we call them, because their unique properties can teach us so much about the amazing world of viscosity. Get ready to dive into the fascinating realm of pitch and discover what makes this substance a true record breaker. Now that we've got our minds blown by the incredible world of pitch, let's get back to the experiment that put this substance in the spotlight. The pitch drop experiment was first unleashed in 1927 by Professor Thomas Parnell at the University of Queensland in Australia. He wanted to show his students a mind-bending reality. Some things we think are solid can actually be super slow-moving liquids. So, what did he do? Parnell took a hot sample of pitch and poured it into a sealed funnel, then waited patiently for 3 whole years, allowing the magic to begin. Little did he know, this experiment would turn into one of the longest-running lab experiments ever, with a twist that'll keep you hooked until the very end. Fast forward to 1930 when Professor Parnell made his next move. He carefully cut the seal on the funnel's neck, giving the pitch its chance to shine. The whole setup was then topped off with a glass dome, and guess what? This experiment has been running non-stop ever since. As if that wasn't enough, it's now officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the longest-running lab experiment in history. But here's where things get really wild. We've got at least 100 more years of this slow-motion show to look forward to, thanks to the massive amount of pitch still waiting to flow. That's right, folks, we've gone from weird to WOW, and it's about to get even crazier. Now that you've recovered from the shock, let's dive deeper into this mind-blowing experiment. So, when it started out, it wasn't under any special conditions. No fancy lab setup or temperature control. That means the pitch's super thick and slow flow could change depending on how hot or cold it got throughout the year. But in 1988, things took a turn for the interesting. Air conditioning was brought in to help keep things consistent. And wouldn't you know it, this little tweak actually affected how long it takes for each drop to fall. Talk about a game changer for an experiment that's all about patience. But here's the thing, with aircon in play, each droplet gets to hang out even longer before breaking free from the gooey pitch in the funnel. Now, let's get to the million-dollar question. How long does it take for one of these slow movers to make its way down? Don't try to guess, we'll spill the beans. It's ridiculously, mind-bogglingly slow that you can't even time it. Can you believe us when we say the first drop took a whopping 8 years to fall, and another 5 drops didn't follow until over 40 more years had passed? You heard it right, almost a decade for that first tiny droplet to make its move. But here's the amazing part, after air conditioning stepped in, we're now looking at one little drop every 13 years. Talk about slow and steady. As of today, only 9 drops have taken the leap, with the last one making its exit all the way back in 2014. So, get ready to witness history as it unfolds below. We're expecting the next big moment sometime within the 2020s. You're itching to catch this phenomenon live. The pitch drop experiment is actually on public display at the University of Queensland's St. Lucia campus. You can head over to level 2 of the Parnell building and check it out for yourself in the School of Mathematics and Physics. But here's the thing, while it's open to visitors, predicting when exactly the next drop will fall isn't exactly an exact science. So, unless you're ready to camp out and keep a 24/7 watch over that funnel, your chances of being there at just the right moment are basically zero. Would you really trade in your daily life for a chance to witness this slow motion magic? So, if you're planning to become a human funnel guard, get ready to make history. Or so you think. The truth is, there's already someone who came really close to witnessing that sweet droplet action. Professor John Mainstone, the experiment's former caretaker. He kept an eagle eye on the pitch drop for 52 years, until his time finally ran out in 2013, and still no drop fell. So while you might think you'll be the first, there's actually been a seasoned contender waiting patiently in the wings, or rather, keeping watch over that super slow moving droplet. You won't believe what happened when that 7th drop finally made its move in 88. Professor Mainstone was out grabbing a caffeine boost and totally missed the action. Talk about bad timing. He strolled back, expecting his morning coffee break, only to find out he'd been drip-fed into missing history. Fast forward to 2013, our hero passed away without catching that elusive droplet in the act. But here's what gets us: not only did Mainstone and his predecessor Thomas Parnell earn a pretty cool nod, the Edge Nobel Prize in Physics, but it's also a funny twist on things. It's like when your teacher gives you an A for effort, even if you didn't quite ace the test. The pitch drop experiment might be slow going, but it's certainly got its fair share of drama and hilarious moments along the way. You're right on the money. That 9th drop did finally happen in 2014. But here's a twist: it wasn't exactly the jaw-dropping moment we were all waiting for. Professor Andrew White took over the experiment, and on April 17, 2014, the 9th drop made its way down. The thing is, when this droplet joined forces with the 8th one, still hanging out in the funnel, the two got a little too cozy, stuck together as they did. It's like that one friend who just won't let go of their BFF status. We guess you could say the 9th drop's arrival was more of a sticky situation than a dramatic spectacle. But the story doesn't end there. On April 24, 2014, Professor White gave it another shot, literally. He swapped out the beaker, holding those 8 sticky drops, hoping to give them a fresh start. But here's where things got real. As he lifted that bell jar, the wooden base started wobbling like crazy, and bam, that 9th drop suddenly snapped free from its funnel home. Talk about a close call for Professor White, right? Now you might be wondering, what happens when thousands of curious eyes are watching every move? Well, this experiment has been live streaming on the internet since 2000, with hundreds of thousands of people tuning in each year to see if that next drop will make it. Here's the thing, we've been saying that nobody has seen it happen, but why is that? Well, the 8th drop fell way back in November 2000, and cameras were set up specifically to catch the big moment live. If no one was watching, they'd still have the video for everyone to see later on. But what if I told you that fate had other plans? The camera malfunctioned, and a series of technical glitches meant that we missed capturing this historic event. It's like the ultimate cliffhanger. The world was waiting with bated breath, only to be left hanging by a thread, or should I say, a droplet. Now that we're waiting with anticipation for the next drop in the 2020s, let's keep our fingers crossed that everything goes smoothly and we can all witness it live, maybe even through a live stream. It's pretty wild to think that despite being at its 10th drop, not a single person has ever seen the fateful moment when the pitch drop falls. But hey, while we wait for what feels like an eternity, 10 years, so far, people are making the most of it by placing bets on when the next droplet will make its appearance. You read that right. There's even an Aussie sports betting site with odds on this low-key thrilling or should I say, cringe-worthy event. So, who knows? Maybe you could be the lucky winner in what some might call the most unlikely bet of the century. Hold up. Don't say it's boring just yet. While it might not be everyone's cup of tea, there's actually a reason we didn't see anyone witness that historic drop, and it's because another team was working on a very similar experiment at Trinity College Dublin in Ireland, which kicked off back in October 1944. Fast forward to decades later, something truly amazing happened. The pitch dropped. Get ready for the thrilling conclusion. After years of anticipation, scientists finally set up cameras, knowing another droplet was about to form, just like the experiment at Trinity College Dublin. On July 11, 2013, around 5 p.m. history unfolded as the pitch dropped, and it was caught on camera for the very first time in over a century. This incredible moment marked a milestone that we're still buzzing about today. Now that we've witnessed history, let's dive into what makes this experiment so groundbreaking. The Trinity College physicists calculated that this super sticky pitch has a viscosity of around 2 million times thicker than honey, or an astonishing 20 billion times thicker than water. That's why catching the drop on camera was such a big deal. Now, we want to know, are you ready to watch the next slow motion show? Cast your vote in the comments below, and let us know if you're up for another mesmerizing pitch drop experience. That's a wrap, guys. If you enjoyed this mind-bending look at the pitch drop experiment, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest edutainment content. Don't forget to explore our channel and let us